Brad Egland, and welcome to number two session of Ask the PM. And you caught me, I recorded the first two together. Hope to release a couple of these per week, and forgive me on the first one, I went 18 minutes. I'll keep this one a lot shorter. I don't like to watch 18-minute videos, so I don't expect that you do either. I've introduced myself already. You can ask me anything about me and that you want. You can even ask questions about adoption, because I told you 7 of my 11 kids are adopted. And that's its own interesting process. But I highly recommend it, by the way. But today I'm going to talk about 4 questions that I had in the pool so far. We're going to talk about what do you do if the client doesn't want to see a Gantt chart. I actually had that happen, and I've talked about it in articles. Number 2, have you ever felt like telling a customer to F off? Yes. I'll talk about that. Number 3 would be what do you talk about? What's included in a good project closeout checklist? And that depends a lot on the project, but I'll kind of cover at a high level what should be talked about or what should be looked at. Number 4, how do you know when you're done with requirements gathering? And that's an interesting topic right there. Okay, so if you don't like any of these topics, you can check out now. Here's your hall pass. Otherwise, stick around and tell me what you think of it. Number 1, what do you do if the client doesn't want to see a Gantt chart? I actually had this happening. I was consulting with an organization who needed an experienced project manager to come in, help them right size 3 projects that were going really poorly. They had a great product, but they were getting rescission statements or requests for 3 projects they were working on. It was in the health industry. I'd never managed anything in the health industry. Well, that's not true. I had built a pharmaceutical website with a team for Rockwell Collins, but huge Fortune 500 aviation engineering firm, and it was for the internal employees to get pharmacy prescriptions filled and refilled and delivered to them. So that was kind of cool. So one of these clients didn't. They were actually a coal mining company, and I said. So they told the company, the 3 CEOs or 3 project sponsors, the company that brought me in. It was my first consulting gig in Vegas. And they brought me in and said, "Hey, we got a project manager here. He's gonna work with you and try to get things fixed." So I brought all 3 of them in, the project sponsors, on 3 different weeks, and met with them. And one of them was this coal mining guy. He was head of HR, actually, running the show on the project. And so if that wasn't out of place, it was odd. But he didn't want to see a Gantt chart. He just wanted an issues list. I'm like, okay, but I can do some really cool reports from the Gantt chart. It'll tell you what we're doing, what we've finished, what we've accomplished, what we're working on right now, what's coming up. He says, no. You can do that. I don't care about it. I want an issues list. So, all right, I did it. You just kind of give the customer what they want, but you try to work that. You want them to see from a Gantt chart or from something what you've accomplished, what you're going to be working on next, so they see that and prepare themselves, because they probably have some assignments out of that, and what's coming up in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. It shows progress, because they're going to want to see that. They say they don't, but they're going to want to see that. So I went with the issues list. I just made that as detailed as I could, and it made him happy. And the other 2 I made happy other ways, and I can't remember how, but we said basically, give me a try, and the healthcare company gave me complete control over their development team and the people who were acting as project managers, and we got things fixed and got their projects rolled out. So, number 2, have you ever felt like telling a customer to F off? Yes, but don't. unless they totally tell you, unless they're totally unreasonable, and you're never going to get $1 out of them. And then you can say, you wouldn't say F off, you want to keep your integrity and stuff up, but you would say, yeah, it's going to work. Go find somebody who is going to give you what you need. That's some of my little children. I have 6 of them that are ages 5 to 11 living at home with us. So we're truly blessed, and it's never quiet here. I work completely from home, by the way, unless I'm on a project and have to go on site or with a customer site. But 99% of the time I'm at home. So don't tell them to get lost like that. Tell them be as professional as you can and do whatever you can to keep them around, because you want the revenue and you want the repeat customers. So if you can make them happy, make them confident and satisfied, great. I had one company I was managing projects for, and they decided they didn't like project managers. So they didn't like me. And my BA said, how do you know you don't like Brad? You don't even know Brad, because they really hadn't met me first. They hadn't met me face to face. In fact, I don't think I ever met them face to face. But I found out they were so afraid of overspending their budget that they didn't want to spend money on a project manager. So what did I do? I limited the amount of time that I spent on the project. I had my travel in to go in and meet with them on a particular deliverable, and I took it out. I just made a call in, made sure everything was going fine. I had a programmer on site, but I didn't go on site myself, so they didn't get my travel. They didn't get too many of my $150 an hour charge that the company was charging me out to them at, and they were happy. We stayed within budget, and they were very happy. And then they liked me, and they thought project managers were okay as long as they stayed off to the side or behind the scenes. Good project closeout checklist. Let's see. That's important, because as you get near the end of the project, you got to think about what should we have done to this point? Have we done it? Do we have all the sign-offs? So basically, what you want to do is you go through all the deliverables in your project notes, electronically or on paper, however you want to do it. Again, real world project management. The PMI would roll over in their grave on probably, but however you want to do it, you want to make sure that you have all the sign-offs for every deliverable, and it's good to request them, because it covers your butt down the road when they say, wait, we never really approved that disaster recovery plan or that communication plan or that deliverable. We never really signed off on user acceptance testing. Remember, there were 2 issues left. No, there were like 2 issues left. We said they weren't big. So get their sign-off. Document all that sign-offs and make sure you have them. Number 2, make sure all the invoices are paid. Because again, we talked about last week, last session, if all the invoices aren't paid, it could just be a lapse. It could be something they're not happy about. But also, you don't want to be going back to them 3 months down the road and saying, hey, you didn't pay me $25,000 for this X, right? You want it done at closeout or on its way. Make sure user acceptance testing was well documented and well signed off, and there's no remaining issues from that, because that's kind of your signature to go live. And number 4, get some sort of feel on lessons learned. Again, it's hard to do at the end. Make sure you've done it throughout the project if you don't do it at the end, because it's important, and you may not get another chance with this customer if anything bad happened and you haven't had a chance to address it. So anyway, ask them what future needs they might have too, because you may be able to cover something or add additional phases to the current project and get more revenue and profit for your company or for yourself as an independent, just by identifying the need. I've done that on tons of consulting work that I do with clients, and say, hey, I could do some ebooks for you to put on your site, and they can download them, your incoming traffic and download them, and there you have it, a database of potential customer contact information, just for an ebook you paid me to write. So that's pretty good stuff. Number 4, how do you know you're done with requirements gathering? Again, you don't. I mean, you hope you do, and you try to do it to death, but there's a chance that you always leave something out. So keep in mind that change orders and scope management are important and necessary. I've never managed a project where there hasn't been a change order that completed successfully. Anyway, so you really don't know. You get as deep as you can. You hope you've got a good BA doing it, because I hate doing all the requirements myself. And it's best if you have a business analyst working with the tech team that knows how to put together a functional design document and says, hey, okay, I think we've got it. I understand the business processes. This is the product. This is how we're going to tailor it, and we're done. And then if you can't put together a tech design document from it, or because I mean the requirements become basically your basis for user acceptance testing, so they're important, and your test cases come from that. And it's just critical that you have good requirements. I always say requirements of the lifeblood of the project. So good detailed requirements are very important. Okay, I hope this has been helpful. Like, subscribe, and share my Brad Eglin or B. Eglin at Consulting YouTube channel. Buy my book. It's called, you can get it at bradeglin.com or my Square account, but click on it, it'll take you right there. It's only $4.99. It's pretty good. I've gotten good comments back anyway, and good sales from it. And it's called A Real World Project Manager's Guide to the Successful Project. I think I got that right. In the future, I'll have a picture of it. I'll have it sitting here. I forgot to bring it with me. And I've got 7 to 10 other ebooks out there. Got about 50 videos on my site. Watch them, enjoy them, and I'll have more, especially with this Ask the PM video. But I've got my real PM video series out there. I've got my 60-second PM video series where I go through things fast. It's not really 60 seconds, but it's more like 3 minutes. So again, this is probably longer than I wanted it to be. I'll try to keep them shorter. Take care. Come back next one. Tell me what you think of these 2 I've done so far, and send in questions.